Hello, good morning, D7. It's yet another sunny day in Edinburgh. I did that thing this morning of leaving later than I normally would by about 5 minutes, so I'm about half an hour later getting here due to the traffic on the way in. But I am in my usual car park. What I have noticed is that, I don't know if you can see, you can't, just behind me, I think as I said last time I was here, there is the same motorhome that's been here every single day I've been here over the last 3 weeks or so. I wonder, I will have a look and see if there are any SNP stickers on it, and if there are, if it has been a bolt hole, a place to go and hide whilst all the furore dies down in the Edinburgh Mosque car park, Nicholson Square, Edinburgh. Wouldn't that be hilarious? However, other performances today. I've got another full day. I'm going to end up being in the Traverse later on today, my final show. Now, I thought to myself, this in Nicholson Square is some distance away from the Traverse, so coming out of the Traverse and doing the whole walk up here was a bit of a trek. Now, it cost me 20 quid for the day in here, which in the centre of Edinburgh, and it is the centre of Edinburgh, I think is pretty damn decent. But the walk back here tonight, at that time of night, I thought, oh, could I, should I, would I, ought I to park the car closer by? And there's the Castle Terrace car park next to the Traverse, so I could come out and just go in there and come home. So I had a look at the National Car Park and the cost, and for me to park in there from 7:30 through till about midnight was about 36 quid. Almost twice as much as it is to park here. So this really does feel like a damn good deal. But again, it brings to mind the whole cost of everything. Whether it be, yes, Ricky, £8.50 for a bleeding burger, £1.50 for a pot of chips, lukewarm chips. That was, I got into a cold sweat thinking about it. Now, if you can afford £8.50 for a burger, then fine, pay £8.50 for a burger. If you want to spend that amount on it, then you're expecting something pretty damn decent. If you're going to spend nearly 40 quid to park your car, then you want to have something decent in response and return. And later on tonight, I'll muse upon the ideas of how this has been in comparison to other years. As it stands at the moment, of the 40 plus shows that I've seen, I think I'm on 46. I've given out 2 5-star reviews and 1 outstanding. So that's 3. That's less than 10% of what I have seen. Now, I have not refused to review any shows that I've seen, so that every single show that I've seen I would recommend that people go and see it, which means that it kind of squashes and there's quite a lot of highly recommended, so there's quite a lot up that top end. But later on today I'll probably muse and think about what it is that I've really enjoyed and really felt was worthwhile doing and seeing. But one of the things is the cost of this. Now again, sitting there talking to Keris, my daughter, on Sunday, and we're talking about the shows that we're seeing and just generally the cost it must be to be able to put something in the underbelly, the circus at the Meadows, or see Aurora, or in the Space, or in the Assembly, or wherever. For individual performers and groups of performers and companies is an absolute bleeding fortune. Add to that the furore this year over the fact that there has been an upsurge in rental to come here and to stay. And I know that there are reviewers who have done less because they can't afford to come and stay here. And many reviewers, the vast majority of reviewers, are doing it for no reward. There's no cash coming through their bank account in order to review theatre. They do it for the love of it. There are some, let's be frank, who do it, who shouldn't be doing it. but at least they're not taking money out of somebody else's pocket whilst doing that. So the infrastructure that goes along with the Fringe, as well as the theatre mass, there is a critical mass that is accompanying it. And this is a multi-billion pound industry that is contributing to Edinburgh immeasurably in so many different ways, culturally, socially, commercially, and it only seeks to understand the contact that the Fringe and the festivals had with Edinburgh from 2022 onwards to return to the point where we had money going into the centre of Edinburgh when it wasn't there in 2020 during the pandemic, and what a difference that should and ought to make. But what seems to be the case is that there is a consolidation within the top 7 venues. They have come together again. Now, William Burdett Coote saying that the Assembly is on its knees and it needs some kind of cash injection is a bit like the Edinburgh Festival Fringe saying it's really struggling, which it's apparently so doing, and yet it can afford £1 million for a new office space or a new space for it to go into. It doesn't sound right, and the reason it doesn't sound right is because performers and people who are providing this product are not being given the respect and support in many cases that they deserve. And that is going to mean, it's not going to mean that the Fringe is going to die. It's not going to die. There are always going to be people who believe that they should come here in order to perform, I think, because there's always a bank of mum and dad, there's always a bank of well-to-do areas that are going to support people to do it, and along with various working class organisations within Scotland that see this as an opportunity to showcase their work, and it will manage to survive in some particular way. But I start to be concerned not just about working class work, black and minority ethnic. There's the Deaf Festival this year. There's a neurodiverse group getting together. These are great to see, but I get concerned and worried not about them being ignored because there is a constituency of people who are fighting really hard and doing really well, but it's the integration of them within the mainstream, because the mainstream is becoming increasingly those that can afford to perform and not those who are good enough to perform. And that's the worry. And the confidence that the middle classes have in order to stand upon a stage, as opposed to the working class kid in Craigmillar, in Easterhouse, down in Toxteth, down in various parts throughout the whole of the country, are not getting the opportunity to go in and perform because the arts are not being supported in the way that they need to be. So that the chance to come up here, whether it be with the local youth theatre, the drama society from the school, the university drama society, are increasingly about people who have the cash to go and do it, not the people who have the ability or have a story to tell. And then that begins the whole process of there being a cultural agenda alongside a social agenda, alongside a political agenda, where working class voices, the voices of those with any form of diversity in their heart, looking to be integrated within the common weal, will begin not to disappear, but to be marginalised in a way that the powers that be will turn and say, look at, you've got a deaf festival, look at, you've got neurodiversity, look at, we had that person there who happens to be all of those things in a one man or one woman or one non-binary show. And what does that tell us? That it is simply lip service. You cannot effect change by getting people into silos. You have to effect change by integrating people together to give the respect they each deserve of each other, so that they are able to discuss and to plan together. And that is my biggest worry over the Fringe. that it's beginning to get to the point where I can see the University of York, I can see such and such school from down south which is private, but I cannot see Drumchapel High School. And that, I think, is one of the rants that I'm going to keep coming back to, because I truly believe, along with many, many actors who are out there, many, many actors on picket lines, many, many actors and writers who are on strike over in America, that this is at the heart and the core of it. We know that art have an elitist tinge. What we should never have is we should never take away the creative ladder that allows people who have the ability to influence that creative tinge, to have it taken away so that they can't get there. So for today, I'm off round and round and round. I have got 2, 3, 4 out of 9 that I've not been to, and I'm going to come away this year with not having been to some of the ones that I really like. Zoo Playground, for example. I saw Hootenanny, which is taken over from the Sweet venues. All of these, the ones that I've seen, been great, fantastic to go and see. But I'll have done over 50 shows, and there are some venues I haven't gone to. There are some venues that I've done 2 or 3, and that's really not much of a sample. So I know there's 3,500, you're not going to get to everything, but I just wish that I was in a better position, not to do more, but to be able to see more. But I'll come back to that later on. So day 7. Nobody's come out of the motorhome yet. See you later.